They have balance. They want to get more out of Kenneth Walker. You know, the defense is playing at a high level. But I think each team in that division is missing something. We know for San Francisco, they're missing Bosa.
Yeah.
You know that when you go down to Arizona, they need Marvin Harrison to be a little bit better. Somebody's got to make a big move. We're going to see who believes in themselves by the trade deadline if they make a big move and a big swing.
That building could have been a house of horrors for Darnold. Remember the playoff game last year against the Rams was horrendous, and he had a terrible game to end the season against the Lions. But guess what? Since he's gotten to Seattle, all he does is make plays when they need him. And last night, we saw the field goal by Myers. They had to get a first down to get there. Of course he makes the play. He did that all last year on the road. Did it against Chicago on the road. Did it in Seattle on the road. And he did it in Arizona on the road. I think Sam Darnold is bona fide a starter in this league and could lead this team to division title.
I think the biggest thing for the Seattle Seahawks offensively is Clint Kubiak, their offensive coordinator, and how him and Sam Darnold are on the same page. And I think also the relationship between Darnold and Jackson Smith-Njigba. He came into that game last night, the second leading receiver in the National Football League. He's taking care of the football. He's going through his progressions and going through all his reads and doing a really, really good job this season so far.
Mike T, you had the Bengals on the radio the other day, am I right? And they for Trey Hendrickson. What do you think?
I like it a lot because they're going to need to do something to stay with Seattle. I disagree with Bart. I don't think Seattle has a weakness. They have explosive players on offense. They could rush the passer with 4. They blitz less than anybody else, which is a great stat from Hembo. So to me, for the 49ers to stay up there with Seattle, they should go out and get a player like Dre.
It's early, right? And listen, I think that the best team in the division, the best team in the NFC is the Rams. I think they showed you that.
In the entire conference.
In the entire conference, period. They're the most complete team, and they're 1 or 2 players away from trying to figure it out. I think they take a big swing.
They did lose a crazy game in Philadelphia last week. Okay, so that's how the weekend kicked off. Pretty good. Let's look ahead, and let's put some of these games in the spotlight with some bold predictions. Bart, give me a bold prediction on Packers-Cowboys Sunday night.
Man, I don't think this is too bold, but Packers 34-10. But the big bold prediction is that Jerry Jones is going to leave the suite because he's tired of seeing his face on the tube. He's going to get out of there, and Kenny Clark's going to try and hitchhike back with the team.
Hembo looked it up. The most that Taylor Swift has ever been shown in a football game was 17 times. I'll take the over for Jerry Jones cutaways on Sunday night. Peter, I know you love this game. Eagles, Bucks in a battle of unbeatens. Give me a bold prediction.
The Buccaneers win this game outright.
Bold prediction.
Well, number one, Isaiah Pacheco and also Kareem Hunt, they better be slobbing out of the mouth after watching that Ravens defense give up 224 yards against the Detroit Lions. I am predicting that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to finally get this run game.
200!
They're going to rush for over 200 yards.
Now that's Harry.
No, that's a man who understands the construct. I asked him for a bold prediction, and it is bold. Now, I want to mention both these teams enter with 2 losses, so simple math tells us the loser is going to be 1-3. And Orlovsky was here yesterday saying at Kansas
game, we're having a realistic conversation for the first time ever under Patrick. Is like, are they going to be out of the playoffs? That's how much this game matters to them. Not only they got to play better, but they have to win this football game to stay in the conversation.
So it's interesting. So Mike Tannenbaum is shaking his head no, and Peter was bringing up earlier all the questions in Baltimore. I just want here's what there are 2 things that are working against the Chiefs over which they have no control. One of them is the Chargers look like they are legit, and so they may be looking up at them all year long.
They're the best team in the AFC right now as a whole, the Chargers.
They probably look that way. And then, can you read me the Chiefs coming up schedule again?
Yeah, so the Chiefs coming up, you have the Baltimore Ravens this weekend, then you have the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Tougher than you think.
You have the Raiders, a divisional opponent. The Washington Commanders, and then after that, you have Buffalo, the Denver Broncos, and the Indianapolis Colts.
And the Lions in there, too. I mean, Mike, if they
6-7 losses.
I know that they're going to get their guys back, but you could get buried before you get there.
Here's what I would say to you and Dan, do the math. 7 teams are going to make the playoffs, right? The Bengals have been eliminated just by how they played last week and no Joe Burrow. Houston is struggling. Miami is struggling. 7 teams will make it. I promise you, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens will both be in because they'll get in with.
You won't bet me.
No, they'll get in with their B game. They don't need their A game. I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but but 7 teams have to make it.
Mike T, they haven't even been playing their B game.
But what I'm saying is, when you look at Houston, Miami, and Cincinnati, that creates opportunities
But you
for
have
Kansas City and
Jacksonville
Baltimore.
and Indianapolis that may jump into those spots
And
because they
I
play in
agree
weak
with that.
divisions. So you have to consider that as well. It's the path that they have to take is harder than the other teams that can get easy wins because of a light schedule.
This is a good conversation. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah,
I like this.
I think it's interesting with Baltimore that we're just saying Baltimore's fine. They've got a very difficult schedule as well, and they've already played 2 hard opponents, and they've lost both times. Baltimore's defense is really concerning right now, and I know they started off the season slow last year and they figured it out, but I thought Kyle Hamilton saying it is not Zach Orr, it is not the defensive coordinator, it is on us, the players. Then you look at that roster, there is no more decorated roster of first and second round picks in the entire league than the Baltimore Ravens. This is only scratching the surface. You haven't even talked about guys they've traded for, like Roquan Smith. This is a loaded defense, and anyone and everyone is having their way with them. I don't know if this just gets fixed based on, hey, we'll snap our fingers. So
Meta BK,
yes.
Travis Jones, Kyle Van Noy, who led them in sacks last year. They're playing without 3
They're all hurt.
important
You're
players,
making
and they're
my
playing
argument
without
for me.
Likely.
Right, you're making-
They're playing in a weak division. This is a different thing than what Kansas
That's
City has
the question.
to deal with.
Is the problem? The reason? The only reason I disagree with you, Peter. I don't disagree with you that the Ravens have to get right. But who's
can beat
going with them in
anybody.
that division? Do we believe in the Steelers? Do we believe
Browns
in the
are going to be
Browns?
not going to be a division champion, but they're going to be a nightmare to play. The Steelers are
Pretty beat 'em.
2-1 right now, and then
Yeah.
of course you've got this Bengals team that everyone's just writing off because of one bad game. I've seen a lot of teams. The Bengals, 2 weeks ago, they were fine with Jake Browning, and they found a way to beat the Jaguars.
Yeah,
Like,
and people
I
watch
wouldn't
the
write them
film.
off just yet because of one bad outing against
I would.
Minnesota.
Yeah, but
Mike is writing them all.
Yeah, exactly. And you always have to say, where is help coming? For Kansas City, it's discernible. It's Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. Bart just made the case. Baltimore's getting 3 good defensive players back. Watch the Cincinnati Bengals. How are they going
Time
to
out.
get back?
Are we watching
They're gonna
Baltimore?
start
You guys
selling
watched
off.
Baltimore lose to Buffalo and lose to
I
the
also
Lions.
watched.
You think
are
no
those,
problem?
are those 2 of the
Of
best teams in
course.
football?
But do you
so
look at
you
that and
think
say
when they
they'll
play
just
the
figure
other
it out?
teams, the other teams that's not on their level, they're going to blow them out. They still put up 30
I
points
would
a
hate
game.
to think
they
it-
can outscore teams. They don't need their defense.
I would hate to think internally in Baltimore, they're watching the tape and they're like, we're good. We're going to
Well,
be
they
fine.
know we're going to get a guy who had 13 sacks and we paid a bunch of money, and they're going to get another guy that led them in sacks with double-digit sacks that's playing his best football. And they got Isaiah Likely coming back, and they haven't played with their 300-pound fullback.
So here's the thing. Let's just try and crystallize or distill this. Mike is probably right. These teams probably both get into the playoffs. But it's one thing to get into the playoffs. It's another thing to look like you're going to the Super Bowl because that's the only thing that matters. The Ravens aren't just trying to get into the playoffs. Kansas City is not hoping to be the 6th seed.
Right.
Right. These are teams. And so the question is, are they still? The 2 of them and the Bills have been definitively the teams to beat in that conference for a while. Are they still going to be that when the season comes to an end?
So
think
look,
one will.
you're talking to a guy that got to the championship game with Mark Sanchez. If you're the 6th seed, 7th seed,
What
the
up,
9th
Mark?
seed, if you go to the playoffs, you go to the stadium, and Lamar Jackson's your quarterback or Patrick Mahomes, you have a real chance.
Fair enough.
course, of
You see, we're
course.
split on the picks. It's an interesting game.
Which is why it's so crazy that they're 1 and 2.
The issue is Travis Kelce's not going to get any younger. And Pacheco looks like a guy that's taking way too many hits. They need to make a major trade for a guy like Alvin Kamara or somebody like that to give them some spunk.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on all of that. It's a very interesting
game.
game, and there are more coming up. We're all going to head to